नमस्कार, अंतिम बाजी में आपका स्वागत है। दिल्ली स्टूडियोज से मैं हूं मिहिर भाट
और मैं हूं डिम्पी कालरा। तो रिकॉर्ड दर रिकॉर्ड बनते जा रहे मार्केट पे आज सेंसेक्स का लेवल भी छूट गया था, उसने भी 30,000 के लेवल को पार कर लिया। ना केवल ये आंकड़ों के लिहाज से बल्कि एफआईज भी रिकॉर्ड स्तरों पर है। 8 साल में अब तक का सबसे ज़्यादा एफडीआई एफआईज का इन्फ्लेशन आता हुआ दिखा है और इस समय रुपया भी कई साल के रिकॉर्ड्स पे ही चल रहा है। तो रिकॉर्ड किसी भी लिहाज से कम नहीं है बाजार के अंदर। आज मार्केट के अंदर अगर आप कोई ट्रेड कर रहे हैं तो एक चीज़ का थोड़ा सा ध्यान रखें, शॉर्ट कवरिंग के लिहाज से शायद बाजार अपनी शॉर्ट कवरिंग पूरी कर चुका है, ऐसा आंकड़े बता रहे हैं। ये आंकड़े डेरिवेटिव्स के हैं, ये आंकड़े सारे टेक्निकल एनालिसिस से हमने जो पूछ के रखे हैं वही सब हम आपके सामने रख रहे हैं। फिलहाल 28 अंकों की बढ़त है, सेंसेक्स 30,000 के ऊपर है। कुछ एक ही शेयर्स आपको बता देंगे कि बाजार में हम ऐसी बात क्यों कर रहे हैं। आप सिर्फ रिलायंस और इन्फोसिस को देखिएगा, आपको समझ में आ जाएगा। एक्सपायरी से ठीक पहले रिकॉर्ड स्तर पर बाजार पहुंचा हुआ है, तो यहाँ पे सावधानी आपको बढ़ानी होगी, थोड़ा हाथ बदला भी बढ़ जाएगा। रियल्टी और आईटी सेक्टर्स को छोड़ सभी सेक्टर्स में अभी तक तेज़ी देखने को मिल रही है। रियल एस्टेट में भी आज कई दिनों के बाद प्रॉफिट बुकिंग हमको आती हुई दिखी है। निफ्टी और बैंक निफ्टी करीब में यहाँ पे 50% कब तक रोल ओवर हो चुका है, ये एफ&ओ का डाटा कह रहा है। इसके अलावा कुछ एक और अहम ट्रिगर्स देखें तो रुपया भी आज मजबूत है। बैंक निफ्टी 22,000 के ऊपर अभी भी ट्रेड कर रहा है, सेंसेक्स 30,000 के ऊपर है। ये कुछ एक इंपॉर्टेंट लेवल है जो बाजार शायद होल्ड करने की कोशिश करेगा। नंबर्स भी चल रहे हैं, आज एक्सिस बैंक के नंबर आ जाएंगे। प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी शायद थोड़ा सा नुकसान दिखाएगी क्योंकि प्रोविजनिंग बढ़ने वाली है। ये प्रोविजनिंग करीब 150% से ज़्यादा बढ़ जाएगी, जिसकी वजह से नुकसान थोड़ा सा रह सकता है। कल शेयर चल रहा था, आज फ्लैट है।
ऑल राइट, लेकिन चलिए इस समय हमारे साथ एक ख़ास मेहमान मौजूद हैं, उनसे बात करते हैं। और ये वो व्यक्ति हैं जो कि दुनिया भर के बाज़ारों पर नज़र रखते हैं और सबसे प्रसिद्ध फंड मैनेजर्स में से, इन्वेस्टर्स में से एक हैं। वो हमारे साथ जुड़े हैं। जिम रॉजर्स इस समय हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं, उनसे बात करते हैं। जिम, हाय, थैंक्स फॉर जॉइनिंग अस एंड वेलकम टू जी बिजनेस। इट्स अ प्लेजर हैविंग यू ऑन द शो। सो जिम, yeah, can you hear me, Jim?
I hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. So nice of you to appear on our channel. Thank you so much. Now, Jim, today Indian markets have made a new high. We did read your views about the Indian markets being expensive, and that's why you were a little wary about the valuations in India. But maybe I think the market seems to think otherwise about the valuation. What's your take?
Well, the market's making new highs. Of course, the market thinks differently from me. I just don't like to buy things making new highs. I missed the move. It's not the first time I've missed a move in something. Everybody's bullish about most of the world right now. Mr. Trump has got a lot of people very excited.
So is this what is making you nervous, Jim, that there is almost across the globe, if we see at different markets, like yesterday Nasdaq crossed 6,000, here in India Sensex topped 30,000 today and made a new high, in fact lifetime high. Now this kind of valuations, this kind of run up, given the growth scenario that we have globally, is this what is making you a little nervous about equity at this point?
Well, as you know, there's a lot of loose money, a lot of cheap money all over the world. Central banks continue to supply the market with all the money they want. You look at Europe, Germany and other markets are doing extremely well. This is because there is a lot of money available and because there's a lot of optimism. Mr. Trump has said he's going to cut taxes. He said he's going to build infrastructure. He said he's going to reduce regulations. All of these things will be good for the American economy if he does it, and that will have a spillover everywhere, especially with a lot of cheap money.
Right. Now, coming back to India, Jim, so on one hand, you have a lot of foreign inflows which are coming in terms of FII investment. On the other hand, you had very critical view about the FDI which is coming to India. And I mean, obviously, you had your concerns about the kind of steps that government has taken. Can you elaborate on that?
Well, it's not that easy to invest in India. If I want to invest in Australia or Germany or somewhere, it's fairly simple. If I want to invest in India, as you know, there are massive numbers of regulations and approvals that I have to go through. Yes, a lot of people are doing it, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying it's not as easy in India as it is in other places. And likewise, the stock market. If I want to buy German shares, I pick up the phone and buy German shares. It's not that easy in India.
So, now, Jim, if we refer to Indian markets at this point, now within emerging markets basket, where would you place India in terms of your preference?
Well, again, India's making all-time highs. I don't like to jump onto a moving train. I'd rather buy Russia. I'd rather buy China. I'd rather buy countries where things are not making all-time highs and where there may be better bargains.
So can we, the kind of run-up that we have seen in Indian markets, the credit goes to the global liquidity that is flowing abundantly at this point, or is there some fundamental merit also in the kind of performance that Indian markets have put up?
Well, there's certainly some fundamental merit. Mr. Moody's done some very good things. You know, he's revised GST, which is a great surprise to me and a great delight to me. But also, he has an election coming in less than 2 years. You know, he's doing a lot of things to make a lot of voters very happy. Whenever you have an election coming in any country, the politicians do their best to make the economy sound and strong and to reward people who will vote for them. Look at the budget. You know what Mr. Moody's done. He's done a lot of things to appeal to a lot of voters, and that helps the market. But it helps it everywhere when it happens. He's not the only person who thought of this.
So what's your take on Mr. Trump's policies so far?
Well, Mr. Trump, so far, most of the stuff he said he hasn't done. It's pretty clear Mr. Trump had no clue what he was talking about. He said he's going to build a wall and Mexico is going to pay for it. I mean, well, Mexico said, no, we're not, but he kept saying Mexico is going to pay for this wonderful wall. I mean, most of the things he said he was going to do, he has not done. He said he was going to get rid of Obamacare on the first month. He hasn't done it. So far, he hasn't done very. He says he's gotten rid of a lot of regulations, and I hope he has. But for the most part, he hasn't really done very much except a lot of talk.
Right.
It's good talk. You must understand, Zee Business. This talk is good talk. He says he's going to cut taxes. He says a lot of good things. Now, he hasn't done it yet, but while he's talking about it, markets can get excited.
But does his warmongering worry you?
I'm sorry? Oh, the warmongering, of course it does. It's terrifying. I mean, it's clear he doesn't have a clue about what's going on in the world. He said before, he said he's going to sit down and have a hamburger with the kid in North Korea. Now he said he's going to blow him up. He threw a lot of missiles into Syria. Nobody knows why. Everybody has said to him, well, where's the proof? And he just doesn't say anything. He put a big bomb into Afghanistan, and people said, well, why? What was the point? And he just doesn't say anything. He moves on. No, it seems that he likes war. He likes this power he has to throw bombs around. It worries me. If war starts in Korea, it's not going to be fun for any of us. Now, the good news is the Chinese said a month ago we're stopping flights to North Korea, but then yesterday or today they said, oh, we're going to resume the flights. So either they're going to blow up North Korea and then resume the flights, or the war is not going to happen.
That's right. But Jim, so currently if we were to look at the global markets, now which is one single biggest threat to this rally? Is it liquidity drying up? Is it war breaking out somewhere in the Middle East or on the Korean Peninsula? Or is it US economy slowing down or derailing? I mean, which is the most common and most visible fear at this point?
My biggest fear is Mr. Trump, because he doesn't have a clue what he's doing, that he will start a trade war. He promised many times that we would have trade wars. He hasn't done it so far. He started yesterday with Canada, but that's all in a small way. When things get bad, you have to understand that what will happen is politicians blame foreigners. And at that point, Mr. Trump may start trade wars. And that's the biggest fear. Nobody has ever won a trade war. Trade wars are always bad for everybody.
What's your take on his views about the H-1B visa? Because companies back here in India and rest of the emerging world are quite nervous about what Mr. Trump is doing and the kind of warmongering that he is doing about H-1B visa.
See, Biz, I'm worried about what Mr. Trump is doing. I'm glad I'm not the only one. Yes. This whole thing, America needs immigrants. Immigrants made America great. A lot of Indians, as you know, have gone to America and done great things for America and for themselves. No, if I were doing it, I would open up more and more. Mr. Trump is appealing to people who say, no, we don't like foreigners. That is not good for the American economy. I live in Singapore. Singapore became great because they welcomed foreigners. They brought in foreigners. America did once upon a time. It is not good what he's doing.
Now, Jim, coming back to Indian markets, I understand, and in fact, a lot of people have been worried about the kind of valuation that Indian market is trading at this point. But fundamentally, if we look at Indian economy, are you satisfied with the kind of performance Indian economy is putting up? Or is there room for improvement? Or the economy could have done better had Mr. Modi pursued little more aggressive policy?
There's always room for improvement everywhere. I wish Mr. Modi would open up your currency to be a freely traded currency. I wish he would open up your markets to make it so easy so that people can buy and sell commodities and stocks and bonds in India. This is not 1917. This is 2017. He could do a lot to open up India more and more and more. I wish he would. I don't know why he hasn't done it. He says a lot of good things. But then when the action comes, he does some good things, but for the most part, he hasn't done what I would like for India to do.
At what point or after what kind of correction you would become a little more comfortable about buying into a market like India?
Well, it depends on what's happening in the world. If America's falling apart, then India and everybody else has got to go down a lot. The American and European stock markets are much more important in the world financial scene than India or China or some of the other countries. It just depends on what's happening in the world. If America's gone to war with Korea, all markets would have to go down a lot before I would invest. But if it's just a normal correction because of interest rates or something, then maybe, I don't know, 15, 20%, who knows? Don't write that down because who knows? Depending on what else is happening in the world.
Right. I was speaking to Mark Faber a couple of days back, and he had one very interesting point that yes, Indian markets are expensive at this point, but if the world was to get into a tailspin or world was to get into some sort of crisis because of maybe some war or some currency crisis, then he would want to buy into a market like India. Do you share that view?
Well, no, in my view, if people are going to get into that kind of situation, I don't want to buy anything. I'm not smart. I'm not as smart as Mark. I would wait to see what goes down the most, what is cheapest, and then I would make my decisions. It might be India. I don't know, depending on how far down India goes. You have to, at least I always remember about India. We talked about some of the things, but India also has a very high debt to GDP ratio. It's higher than many countries. Russia, for instance, has a very low because nobody would ever lend money to Russia. But India still has a high debt to GDP ratio, and that worries me in the back of my mind.
So at this point, one last question to you, Jim. Do you see this liquidity glut that's floating around the world continue for some more time? Because that will decide the course of markets as well.
No, I expect it to end sometime this year because there are enough central bankers now that realize this is not good, and the market itself realizes this is not good. As you already see that interest rates have gone up in some places. They continue to rise slowly, not straight up, but interest rates are starting to go up. So I would expect this massive glut, artificial glut of liquidity will come to an end sometime in the next few months. And that is the biggest, that and Mr. Trump are the biggest worries for me.
What's your take on dollar? Do you see it further strengthening?
Yes, I own the U.S. dollar. I own a lot of it because as the turmoil gets worse, people will put their money into a safe haven and they think the U.S. dollar is a safe haven. Plus, if Mr. Trump does start wars or trade wars, people will put their money into the U.S. dollar. So I see many reasons. U.S. dollar is very flawed. It's got many problems, but it's perceived as a safe haven, and so I own a lot of U.S. dollars.
Have you invested in gold also lately?
I haven't bought any recently, but I have gold. I always have some gold. I'm trying to find some right here. I always have it sitting around somewhere. I haven't bought any in a while, but I haven't sold my gold. Don't sell your gold.
All right, Jim, thank you so much for joining us. And a pleasure having you on the show. So we hope to speak to you again sometime soon. Thank you so much.